Okay, boss, this ceremony, he is beating the Suzumi drum, and it is to inspire the warrior spirit to come up so that the warrior will fight with his heart and soul.
I heard so, yeah. It was officially used with the samurais. The samurais used to do this.
Wow, what a spectacular exhibition of the Suzumi drum.
Look at this. Wow. And there are the fighters.
Okay, here we go, boss. These are the warriors of tonight, folks.
The samurais, so to call, so to say.
埼玉スーパーアリーナ本世紀最初に送るプライシリーズプライルーティーン出場全選手の紹介です
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first of the Pride Series for the 21st century Pride 13!
第1試合ボビー・ソースワース
From the United States of America,
Vitor Belfort
from Brazil, Vitor Belfort!
第2試合ガイ・メッツァー
From the United States, Guy Mezger!
Egan Inoue
From the USA, Egan Inoue!
第3試合ソボレフ・デニス
From Russia, Sobolev, Denis!
Heath Heating
From the United States of America, Heath!
第4試合ダン・ヘンダーソン
From America, Henderson!
ヘッド・グレイシー
Renzo! Gracie!
第5試合アラン・ドエス
From Brazil,
第7試合トレイ・ヘデンマン
From the United States of America, Strife, Telligman.
Igor Vovchanchyn
From Ukraine, Igor Vovchanchyn.
第8試合バンダレイ・シルバ
From Brazil, Silva.
そして桜庭和志
Okay, there he is, Kazushi Sakuraba. And we're ready to go. Bob Smoot and Stephen Quadros ringside, Pride Fighting Championships.
Wow, we're fucking starting early, huh?
I better attack my
Jesus.
Hello, fight fans, and welcome back to Pride Resurrection, a historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode, we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to take a look back at Pride 13, Collision Course. I am the most dangerous man alive today, joined by the Colombian Good Vibe.
Woo! Yeah!
And guess what? The machine is back! Yahoo!
Yeah, it's been a long hiatus.
Yes.
Christmas came early for you
That's right.
listeners.
Well, in your absence, we were telling all the people about your wild adventures in the Congo and the Nile and all.
I've really just been in jail.
It's March 25th, 2001, and the start of a new millennium brings with it an old problem. Robert E. Lee's reanimated corpse has appeared, and using dark voodoo magic, he is able to raise the remains of his Confederate army. After commandeering a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, Lee and his army have set off for Japan to finish what they started. The South will rise again.
What the fuck are you smoking? What the fuck did you smoke to write this shit?
But little does General Lee know that Japan has a plan to stop him. And 16 warriors of mystical power have been summoned to defend the realm from this invasion and restore the balance of good and evil. Will they succeed? This is Pride 13, Collision Course. Very topical with the Confederacy.
Jesus Christ.
Held at the Saitama Super Arena in front of 27,000 adoring fans, Pride 13 features 8 bouts of civil strife. Some tweaks to the strikes allowed have been made, starting with Pride 13 here, which are the addition of soccer kicks as well as kicks to a downed opponent in any position,
Okay.
including down on all fours.
Quick question. Was this actually mentioned during the event?
It was twice by Quadros.
Okay.
Yes.
Because for some reason, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, so apparently this is legal now.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I'm like, maybe I just wasn't paying attention at the right times. So I wasn't sure when it got mentioned. But okay.
Yes, there was this, and also there was new round time rules. The classic Pride rules we all know, that me and Machine know and love.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute first round, which would later be called the endurance round. Then 2 5-minute rounds, and this will go until the end of Pride.
And I like that.
Like they do
I
with
mean,
the current Ryzen right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I do like that. That, you know, especially because of the fact that I really just like the fact that it's just set, plain and simple. You know, now we finally have fucking rules when it comes to round time.
Yes. Yeah. So now with this Pride 13, we can all say that Pride has finally become the Pride that everybody loved. Before we get into Pride 13, what else was happening around the MMA world around this time? 6 days after Pride 12, Pancrase held their Proof 2 event at the Namihama Dome in Osaka, Japan. Some of the stars appearing at Proof 2 included Nate Marquardt, Hiroko Sato, Tim Lachik, Yuki Kondo, Iko Hisa the Punk Minowa, Paolo, I'm already fucking up.
Paolo.
Jesus.
Paolo, yes.
Paolo.
Paolo Fijo, yes. And the most feared of them all, Daiju Takase. Pancrase is notable during this era for their fairly large fighter drought, as most of the marquee names that carried the brand through the mid-90s had moved on or retired. Dragging the ship forward would be the core of mid-tier fighters that were previously just punching bags for the top-tier guys. Even though Pancrase would continue on for years to come, the style and purity of Pancrase had been tainted as Pancrase transitioned to a more mainstream MMA style. Bare hands were gone, now donned with gloves, and the elegance that once was Pancrase has slipped away. With all that all the way, let's get into it. Pride 13, Collision Course.
All right, so the intro. I have some notes here because first of all, they picked the worst things and made them worse. So we get the intro to the fighters. So we get the smoking robot.
Master, Egan and Inoue, Sobolev, Denis, Henderson.
Well, apparently his health deteriorated because now he's barely fucking whispering. Right? So then we get the drunken hobo cameraman, who apparently got even more extra hooch. Yeah. So the camera is extra fucking wild this time around. So I was like, holy shit, just like the camera just like he's like bouncing it off like playing a game of pinball.
This DVD rip comes jam-packed with 15 minutes of intro goodies. There's a reason for that, and we'll understand in a little bit why they have so much space.
It's understandable.
Yeah, previously on the DVDs, they cut out as much as they could to fit the fucking fights onto like a double-sided disc. Our event here opens with Kai Grant, one of the many ring announcers featured in Pride, introducing our two commentators who show off some moves.
Hello, America, and welcome to Japan and the Pride Fighting Championships. In the blue corner, calling the action, Steven Quadros. In the red corner, the expert commentator, Bouts Rotten. Poof, poof, poof. Oh yeah. Knockout.
Especially Quadros, who looks like he could fuck you up. And the cameraman, as noted by Good Vibe, is obviously being instructed by somebody to do this movement like a drunk bastard.
Oh my god, it's fucking terrible.
After watching the last work on the last DVD that the producers went back and said, no, we should change that. No, they're telling the guy, do that more.
It's... and let's not forget our lovely Asian Elvis.
This guy is the top announcer maybe in the whole martial arts.
Oh, he's very famous here in Japan. I call him Elvis, by the way. Why? Why do you think why?
Yes.
I was wondering what the fuck was up with that, too.
I saw him, I'm like, someone speaking English and looks like an Asian Elvis? I'm in. Whatever he's doing, I'm in.
And another new face gets introduced to us as it looks like Eddie Bravo has been kicked to the curb, boom, 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 and replaced by a pair of tits. Replaced by a lovely young woman, Risa Stegmeyer.
And working with us backstage doing the reporting is the lovely Risa Stegmeyer. Risa, what's going on?
Hi, Beth.
Risa shows off the huge crowd at the concession stand where t-shirts are selling like mad, she states. She is also nearly jumped by a group of menacing Japanese men who shadow very close behind her.
I'm going to do a quick interruption because I remembered a note. So, we had the shitty camera, and then we had the introduction of Quadros and Boss, right? Quadros comes in like pretend fighting. Oh my god, so impressive. But then Boss comes out. And his pretend fighting and pretend noises. He goes like, poof, poof, poof. To me, it sounded like he was like more like poo-poo-pooing.
Oh yeah. Knockout.
Because like he looked like he wanted to take a shit at that point. I was like, what the hell? And then, right after Boss, he agreed with me about Asian Elvis. Because I was like, this guy looks like Asian Elvis, and he's like, and here we have Elvis. I'm like, oh, thank you, Boss.
After Quadros and Boss talk about the double main event, we get an amazing parade of fighters with a crazy Japanese heretic banging a drum and screaming before the Pride music drums, revealing our fighters' fucking gold. The crowd is fucking pumped for this. I'm fucking pumped for this amazing, awesome intro. After that, we immediately go into the first fight of the evening.
Hey, by the way, you know who's not pumped for that intro?
Who?
Quadros. He says he's pumped, but if you hear his voice, he's like, and now we hear this, and this is going to pump the fighters, and they're going to want to fight so badly.
He was very low. I think he's trying to be quiet.
I know, but it sounded just monotone. I was like, all right, apparently you're excited. I don't believe you, man.
Our first fight of the evening features a returning Vitor Belfort, who's 23 years old with a record of 8-2, taking on newcomer to Pride, Bobby Southworth. From the USA, who was 31 years old with a record of 3-1. Vitor is 1 month shy of his 24th birthday, and he returns after 2 straight decision victory slogs. Most recently against Tajiro Matsui at Pride 10, but what about his opponent, Bobby? Born in Santa Cruz, California, Bobby started his MMA career in 1999, appearing at Neutral Grounds 12, held in California, I assume, on May 28th. There he fought Jason Godsey, a world-traveled MMA fighter who had fought in Extreme Challenge, Pancrase, and the IBC. Godsey would choke Bobby out. His next fight came at Super Brawl 12 in June of 1999, where he defeated Bob Ostovich via TKO after 4 minutes. Then it was on to IFC Warriors Challenge 10 in October of 2000, where he beat Toby Oberyn via rear naked choke after 2 minutes. And then just prior to Pride 13 here in January of 2001, he beat Ivan Sikwit, I guess, at Bushido 1 via submission due to strikes. And that brings us here to Pride 13. Pre-fight, we only get a ring walkout for Bobby Southworth, but none for Vitor. Quadros and Boss aren't sure about who this Bobby fellow really is, but according to Boss, he was very calm before the fight, and he's a Golden Glove winner.
Bobby is the IFC champion. That's the International Fighting Championship in the United States, and he does have about 5 mixed martial arts fights, and he's going to be stepping in real deep tonight with Vitor Belfort, don't you think?
There's going to be some problems for him, but we don't know anything about him. And in our interview we had before, he looked really confident. He's a Golden Gloves champion.
Quadros also said he was the IFC champion. That's International Fighting Championship. I'm unable to verify it, though. That is being a fact. Belfort looks incredibly thick with roids here, though. Dude. Any thoughts here, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm rooting for the guy in the black shorts.
I assume they both have black shorts. I can't remember.
Yeah, they do.
I'm still a Vitor fan to this day, so
Yes.
always going for Vitor.
Well, I mean, I do find it
I
funny.
mean, not always. I mean, there's times I've gone against it, but for most time, I pick Vitor to win.
Yeah.
I did find it funny that in the entrance they give Bobby a walk-in as the new person, but they completely skipped Vitor.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that either. Why would they give the newcomer a walk-in?
Yeah.
But not the guy who's been in, about 3 prides. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, let's do it. Round 1, the bell rings. The fighters circle for a little. Southworth fires a right hand, and Vitor responds with a barrage that mostly misses. Leg kick by Vitor. Quadros says it's the first leg kick he has ever seen Vitor throw in mixed martial arts.
But that's a very smart thing to do. I just wanted to say it. Kick inside leg, because the strong leg is behind now. Can do a lot of damage.
I believe that's the first kick I've ever seen Vitor Belfort throw in mixed martial arts.
Citation needed. More feeling out before Vitor swings with a breezy right hand, to which Southworth looks to shoot in and grab Vitor by the body. Vitor swings around to face him. 2 knees by Bobby. Vitor pushes in now for a takedown, and he gets Bobby down to the mat. Vitor passes to the side briefly, then is back in full guard, and then he tries to pass again. Bobby goes to stand up, and though Vitor tries to hang on to him, he is dislodged, and we're back to standing. Vitor holds on to try and take it back to the ground in the corner, and he turns Bobby down to the mat. Quadros laments how it appears Vitor has gone back to the ground and pound style he used in the last 2 fights.
It looks like Vitor has gone back to the style he exhibited in his last 2 fights, wanting to work on the ground.
Yep.
Boss tries to justify this style.
Yeah, why should you take a risk? I think he feels a little bit more comfortable right here now, being on top, even if it's in the half guard, butterfly guard.
Ref calls for action as Vitor works in full guard. At the 3-minute mark, the ref comes in to reposition the fighters. Not a whole lot of action, says Quadros. Nope. We're back in the ropes already. Vitor pounds away. Vitor then tries to pass again, and this time winds up on a sitting Bobby's back. Vitor abides his time for a moment, then springs a rear naked choke that is deep, and Bobby is tapping out.
And he's got it. He's got it. Oh my. He does have it. He's got it sucked in. Have to tap out. There's no way he can get out. He taps. He taps. A quick choke by Vitor Belfort out of nowhere. Once Bobby.
Vitor Belfort, winner at 4 minutes and 9 seconds of the first round via submission. Boys, thoughts on Vitor versus Southworth?
Normally doesn't do submissions, but
No.
normally stand up and beat the shit out of you, so
Yeah.
a little different for Vitor, expanding a little bit in his repertoire.
Yeah, I mean that was so funny because when he was trying to get, past the guard and everything, they were saying that he doesn't do submissions, that he doesn't do all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And all of a sudden, in a second, boom, he's got the headlock, and it was like straight in. It was done for. And like when they showed the replay, it's kind of funny because you have Bobby like looks up for a second, like, and then boom, just gets in, and it's like, and he knows it, and immediately because he just taps right away. He's like not even gonna try.
Yeah, Bobby obviously made a big mistake by thinking he had a moment to like think about a situation and not guard the rear naked choke. He totally fucked up there. At least Vitor did something this fight as opposed to his last two fights, which were really shitty in Pride. I was dismayed by him going back to the well with his plodding groundwork, but luckily for everyone involved, Bobby fucked up and gave him the choke. It was an okay fight, but I'm seriously not looking forward to any more Vitor fights in the future. I'm hoping he will surprise me. So, my friends, what would become of our two buxom bashers here? Vitor will return to Pride at Pride 14, Clash of the Titans, where he will face off against Heath Herring. As for Bobby, this would be it for his Pride career. He would return to the States for more International Fighting Championship action with Warrior Challenge 14 in July of 2001. He would sporadically fight until he would get the call to appear in the Ultimate Fighter TV series debut season, where he would lose to Stephan Bonner during his stay at the house, but would get called back as a possible replacement. A replacement that never happened. Bobby would go into Strike Force after that, from 2006 until 2008, having 6 fights in the promotion and becoming their first ever light heavyweight champion after defeating Vernon Tiger White via decision at Strikeforce Triple Threat in December of 2006. He would defend the belt twice, including once against Anthony Ruiz, after he lost to Anthony in a non-title bout. Kind of like the WWF, I guess. He had a non-title bout against Anthony Ruiz. He lost, and then he faced him again later and beat him.
Wow.
Daniel Cormier did it against Silva.
Yeah, though different in weight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Maybe that was it. Maybe Ruiz missed weight. Where was I? Bobby would eventually lose the belt to Renato Sobel at Strikeforce Destruction in June of 2000.
Where's Babalu?
Yeah, Babalu. Bobby only had one more fight in him after him losing the belt, which came in 2010 for Extreme MMA 2. That's Extreme spelt like cream, but with an XT added in front of it. I guess regular Extreme MMA was already copyrighted.
We'll just change it by a letter or two.
Right, yeah. That event happened in Australia, and Bobby, 40 years old at the time, would defeat his opponent Aaron Boves, or is it Boyes? Aaron Boyes via TKO in the first round. Assumed retired, Bobby's record stands at 10-6 and 1 no contest. We'll see you some other time, Bobby.
Okay, boss. Guy Mezger. Now, you know this guy. You fought this guy before in Pancrase. Guy Mezger.
I did. He's a very good friend of mine. Real good fighter who's getting better and better. It's unbelievable. The last year, his punching is getting way better. He trains with some good box coaches.
I think the Lions Den fighters in general have become a lot more dangerous with the strikes. Their boxing program, under the guidance of Ken Shamrock, he's hired a bunch of really great trainers. They're all really...
Egan Inoue 選手の入場です。In the red corner, from the United States of America, Egan Inoue!
Okay, Egan Inoue is primarily a grappler, 35 years old, 5'9", 200 pounds in this fight, resident of Honolulu, Hawaii. He has in his corner this fight John Lewis, who's a noted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and also a black belt from Team LaBelle. John Lewis is primarily there as a...
Our next matchup sees a returning Guy Mezger, who is 33 years old, with a record of 27-11-2, taking on a returning Egan Inoue, who was 35 years old at the time and had a mixed martial arts record of 7-5. Mezger returns after his duo of mud stompings against Alexander Otska, first at Pride 12 and then at King of the Cage 7. Wet and wild! As for Egan, it's been years since we've seen the bald Inoue brother. He was last seen at Pride 6 in July of 99, where Karl Malenko, my fave, got the upset decision win over Inoue.
I was wondering because I'm like, when was the last time we watched him? Like, I was like, I can't even fucking remember.
Yes, it's been a while. Since then, Egan hasn't done a whole lot. In December of 99, he defeated John Alessio via rear naked choke at Super Brawl 15 and appeared in the Abu Dhabi Combat Club 1999 and 2001 Jiu-Jitsu Championship.
The Jits Championship.
Yes,
that sounds even better. The Jits Championship.
My fucking laptop was obscuring. Something was going on where I was obscuring. I couldn't read what the fuck was behind me. Yes, the 19...
Did you drink before we showed up?
I didn't.
Is that what's fucking happening?
I was gonna make these. We have those little juices that come in the little plastic barrels.
Yeah.
I was gonna pour a little of the juice out and fill it up with vodka, so we could have these little barrel
like
shots.
the kids.
Yeah,
drinks?
the little kids juice.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that. Anyway, the Abu Dhabi Combat Club Jiu-Jitsu World Championships in 1999 and 2001. He placed third in both years. It's been over a year since Egan has fought in any professional sense. And he's going to have to shake off the ring rust real quick here against one of the best MMA fighters of the era, Guy Mezger. In a pre-fight interview, it is revealed that Guy Mezger really wanted to fight his brother, Ensign, but Ensign had announced his retirement after losing to Heath Herring at our previous Pride 12.
I heard before that you really wanted to fight Ensign, but since he announced his retirement in Pride 12, you're not going to be fighting him.
Yeah, I think originally the game plan here in Pride was for me to fight Ensign, but he retired last fight, so his brother, I stepped up and took the mantle because me and Egan, we kind of have a little unfinished business because of UFC 13, which, it's just one of those things about two alley cats walking down the same alley, someone wants to find out who's the best.
Luckily, we will get to see Ensign come out of retirement for one more Pride 19, Bad Blood. Also, Mezger has been declared the most sexiest bachelor by Risa.
You've been voted the most sexiest bachelor.
And I think Mezger was in a show in America back in 2001 called America's Sexiest Bachelor, and that's where that came from. I'm unable to verify this.
Well, all I know is that it appears that his sideburns grow with every victory.
Yes. Speaking
I
of...
see his first fight, he had super long hair versus another guy who had super long hair.
You bring up sideburns now, but just wait until we get a glimpse of that fucker Ken Shamrock. Okay? You want to talk about sideburns. Not to spoil anything, fight fans. As for Egan and his interview, he's just not sure what it's going to take to beat Mezger.
How do you think you're going to fight with him?
You mean how
are you going to bring him down?
How am I going to bring him down, like to the ground or just to beat him?
Just to beat him.
To beat him? I don't know. I'm not sure. So whatever it takes to beat him, I'm not sure exactly. I hate to make a call before.
And jokingly, he says his dream fight is Pee Wee Herman. Mezger gets his walkout and Boss sings his praises, saying he's a good friend. Then Egan gets his walkout too, and he comes out in what looks like a sambo gi. Egan looks pretty swole for this fight. I wonder if he's getting his some extra help from his brother via a poke of the needle, because he's looking a lot bigger than usual. Both men, it appears, are going to be wearing shoes for this fight, which is interesting. Geezer tidbit! And I can't believe I didn't realize this till now. Mezger was born on January 1st, the same day as the most dangerous man alive today. Another geezer tidbit. Both men share the honor of having a victory over the Diet Butcher, Alexander Otska. A rare feat indeed.
When did you beat the Diet Butcher?
This one time you seen him at a gas station and broke something over his head and ran.
When I said both men share the honor, I mean Mezger and Egan, you fucker. While Mezger kicked Otska's ass twice in a row just prior to Pride 13 here, Egan defeated the goofy pro wrestler all the way back in 1995 at that year's Lumex Cup. Make sure to go check out Classic MMA Revival 6 for a thorough look back at this event. Anything to say here, boys? Any comments?
No, I mean, guy looks fucking fit.
I liked Mezger. I've watched a lot of his fights. I mean,
yes. I said it last Pride. He's one of the best fighters. Well, I said it. He's one of the best fighters of the era. He looked really good last Pride, and he's going to be tough to beat here.
And I mean, if the Wolverine rules apply, he's got the chops.
Yes.
So he's going to win.
Yeah, he wins on those alone. Let's do it. Round 1. The bell rings. Leg kick by Mezger, then another. Quadro states that kicking is now allowed with shoes on. I guess before, if you wore shoes, you were not allowed to kick.
There's another low kick. Kicking is allowed now under the new rules with shoes on. A lot of people like Guy Mezger really like to wear the shoes for traction.
Okay. Now there's a leg kick by Egan. Missing 1-2 by Egan, then a missing snap head kick by Mezger. Mezger then wades in with a straight right. Egan ducks, they clinch. Mezger works to break away, but Egan gets control in the corner. Quadro says that Mezger has had a total of 139 fights, which include his kickboxing bouts in his career. Unfucking believable. Mezger regains control in the corner and delivers a knee to the body by Mezger. They push away from the corner with some dirty boxing. Mezger tries to go over the top of the left. More dirty boxing as Egan tries to punch his way out. Kind of a dipping maneuver by Mezger. Knee by Egan, then they trade. Egan falls for a moment. There's a half-tied clinch by Mezger and a half-hearted knee. Egan flies in with a straight that Mezger counters. Mezger chases Egan toward the ropes with punches, then a knee and a straight right. Egan collapses and the ref is in already to wave off the fight as Egan looks KO'd. Mezger, winner at 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the first round via KO.
The guy is really landing the most significant shot. Oh, good right hand there by Guy Mezger. That really is Egan's dropping his hands now. Not a good idea. Egan's in trouble. Down. Right hand by Inoue. Egan is out. It's over. Guy Mezger has knocked out his third consecutive opponent. His third knockout in a row. Big right hand. It's that right hand box.
Yeah. Surprise.
It was a starching. Yeah, I wasn't. Honestly, the hits look good.
Here's the thing. The hits look great, but Inoue looked like a fucking rookie. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's been doing prior to this fight, but it has not been fucking training.
Yeah, I wonder how much training he was doing. I don't think he was doing a whole lot. This might have just been a payday, honestly.
Yeah, because, like, he just got beat, plain and fucking simple. Like, for someone that has had, like, prior Pride events and stuff like that, prior MMA fights, he was a fucking rookie out there, man. I would expect that from someone from the Takeda dojo, alright?
Curiously, it appears Ensign has taken umbrage with Mezger as he won't let go of Mezger's hand after a handshake and pulls him close for some words. Ensign definitely looks angry about something. Not sure why. Mezger legitimately kicked his brother's ass. What could he be angry about? Hilariously, Quadros and Boss are waiting for a replay, and it just never comes.
Guy Mezger there. Let's see if we can get a replay.
I'm waiting too.
The next fight is already playing.
He's like, oh, you guys, you'll see this when the replay happens,
Yes.
and then it's like, no replay.
Yep, just on to the next fight. Boys, final thoughts here on Mezger versus Egan.
Just a good fight for Mezger. The other guy looked like a clown.
Well, but see, that is the one thing that always gets me. Mm-hmm. Is it Mezger being so good that he makes Inoue look terrible, or is it Inoue being terrible, therefore making Mezger look good?
There's a little of both.
Because for me, it was really more of column B. Inoue, like I keep saying, he just looked like a fucking rookie. He looked like he didn't come in prepared for jack shit.
No, he didn't come in. It looks like he didn't come in prepared. He most definitely didn't come in prepared for Mezger. I mean, Mezger, if he had watched Mezger's last fight, Mezger gave Silva a really good fight, although he got caught. He whipped Otska's ass. Of course, that's Otska,
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if Egan had been paying attention to what Mezger was doing, or if he just didn't care. This was just a payday. What I have written here is, I like Egan. He's a super cool dude. He looked in stellar shape here. It looks like he was spending time in the gym, but I don't think he was really working on any MMA stuff. I think Mezger here was coming right off of his peak. He's a great fighter, super diverse. Most guys would have a lot of trouble with Mezger, and I just don't think the skill set Egan had. He's mostly a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't think his skill set at all was a good matchup. Egan should have tried to take it to the ground, but he decided to try and stand up with him. Egan's stand-up is very suspect. Good fight. I liked it. Not surprising, though. So what will become of our two masterful MMA artists here? Guy Mezger will be back real quick to take on a very special attraction fighter for Pride 14, Chuck Liddell, on loan from the UFC. This was the start of Dana White's master plan to build his new UFC toy, which he had convinced the Farida brothers to purchase in January of 2001. Will Dana succeed in his plan to manipulate the Japanese into promoting their future competitor? We shall see. As for Egan, this would be the last we would see his shiny dome, at least in Pride. Egan would return to the Isle of Hawaii and have a streak of fights in Super Brawl, the Hawaiian-based promotion, going 5-2 and winning his first 5 bouts before losing his last 2. His win streak began with Super Brawl 21 in May of 2001. There he beat Brett Al-Azawi via forearm choke. Later in 2001, in November, at Super Brawl 22, he faced off against, get this, Joe Dorkson. That's his fucking name, Dorkson. Joe's an interesting fighter from Canada, actually, who started his MMA career in 1999 and proceeded to go 17-3 until he faced Egan at Super Brawl. And then he went 34-13 from then until 2014 with 2 stints in the UFC. Do you remember him at all?
Who's that again?
Joe Dorkson.
No, I do not.
What a dork.
What a dork. Neither of his stints in the UFC went very well. Anyway, at Super Brawl 22, Egan submitted Dorkson with a toe hold. 5 more Super Brawl appearances awaited Egan between 2002 and 2003, with the last coming against Jason Miller. Yes, that Jason Miller.
Right.
At Super Brawl 32 in December of 2003. Egan's corner would call for a stop to the fight at the end of the second round. The last 2 losses in Super Brawl would mark Egan's retirement from professional MMA, except for a one-off coming out of retirement fight in 2008 at the Hawaii-based X1 World Events promotion at an event called X1 Legends, where Egan faced Hans Marrero, winning via TKO retirement in the 3rd round.
Clearly not Legends. Clearly, if they're bringing in Egan, they're using that fucking word so fucking loosely.
He might be a legend in Hawaii. He might.
It's right up there with Don Ho.
Yeah. I guess Hans
he's a legend because he beats up all the fucking tourists.
Yeah. I guess Hans Marrero in that fight just gave up at the end of the 3rd round. Egan would forever hang up his shoes that time as a winner. Egan would open 3 different MMA training schools in Hawaii after that, and I think he now operates a yoga school. And to this day, he shares his newsletters on Twitter for the world to enjoy. By all accounts, Egan is a wonderful guy, and I suggest you go follow him on Twitter, if Twitter is your thing. We'll see you some other time, Egan!
I was freaking when you got that double underhook at me. It was tight.
That's all right.
We're working on it. Thank you. Thank you, Japan. I love coming here. I've been coming here 6 years, and it gets better and better every year. I'm not retiring. I don't care what anybody says. Stronger than I've ever been.
I'm standing here next to somebody who made a dramatic transformation in the last year, 1.5 years. He went to Holland, and he came there to train with one of the best trainers, if not the best trainer in Thai boxing, Cor Hammers, exactly the same trainer where I used to train from Meng Ho Breda in Holland. Heath, what is it that Holland did to you while you're making such an unbelievable going upward position power?
Yeah, I really don't know how to explain it. I got in, I have a new trainer, Cor Hammers, a new management team. I lost a lot of weight, changed my whole training program. Became a lot more aggressive standing up. So just my whole game was totally changed around from the about pre-2000 that I was.
How many pounds did you lose?
I think probably 20 pounds at least, 30 pounds.
Yeah, if you could see him the way he was before, it's unbelievable. Now he's ripped and he's ready to fight. Also, he's representing the Golden Glory team, and we got a lot of fighters from there. Last week we had an event there, and all the people from Golden Glory won, and he's proud to do that. Maybe we should call Cor Hammers. Cor, please, could you come? Because this is the man who's also the trainer behind Ramon Dekkers, world famous, most feared Thai boxer ever. Cor, what did you think of him when you saw him for the first time?
Well, I think that's a hell of a job to make something out of this, you know. No. He was pretty strong and very good on the ground, and we had to make some standing up techniques, and we did a well job. He worked hard for it, and I worked hard for it, and the result is there, and we hope we can continue tonight and in the future.
Okay, now perfect answer. Okay, and we have another question, of course. We have to ask this, the girls. What do the girls think? What do you think of the girls in Holland, by the way, and what do they think of you?
As you know, the girls in Holland are beautiful.
Yes.
Among the most beautiful.
I married one.
Yes. I'm currently dating one, so I will have to refrain from any other statements.
Now for the third match.
青コーナーよりソボレフ・デニス選手の入場です。
In the blue corner, from Russia, Sobolev Denis!
Okay, Sobolev Denis, 25 years old. He is from Russia, and we don't know a great deal about this guy. We do know that he is a Muay Thai fighter, and his trainer is from Dagestan.
赤コーナーよりヒース・ヒーリング選手の入場です。
In the red corner, from the United States of America, Heath Herring!
Okay, now Heath Herring, we know him well. We were just in Holland, you and I. And Heath is trained by your old Muay Thai trainer, Cor Hammers.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he changed dramatically. He lost like 25, 35 pounds. He got himself in a great shape. Did exactly the same training that I used to do. He's running the same path in the woods. Still everything the same. And Cor Hammers told me he's doing great.
On to fight 3 of the evening, which has Heath Herring, who is 23 years old and a record of 16-5, taking on newcomer Denis Sobolev, or is it Sobolev Denis, from Russia, who is 25 years old and had a record of 1-1. I say which way does it go because they announce him as Sobolev Denis, but every resource I can find on the internet calls him Denis Sobolev.
I just have him as Denis because I couldn't think of how to fucking spell Sobolev.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this. His name is now Denis.
Right, it's much easier.
Heath has returned after he is able to stop Ensign Inoue at Pride 12 and 3 weeks after his 23rd birthday. Now he welcomes in a new face to Pride. But just who is this Russian Denis Sobolev? The Sobolev is from Russia. He fights other Russians for the glory of the motherland. That's all I have on the Sobolev. Just kidding. Denis started his MMA career in August of 2000 at Yalta's brilliant 2000 event, which featured an 8-man tournament. Also competing in that tournament, Sergei Karatanov. Yes, that Sergei Karatanov, future Pride star. Denis would defeat his first opponent in the tournament, Gogita I split up this guy's fucking name so I could read it better. It did not help. Gogita Berushashvili with a knee to the body, putting Gogita down after 4 minutes in the first round. But Denis would be stopped by his next opponent that eve, Roman Shovachka, via rear naked choke after 27 seconds of the first round. Roman would go all the way to the finals of that tournament, where Sergei awaited him. Sergei would win by default as Roman would injure his hand in the first round. putting a stop to the fight. And that's all I have for the Sobolev. Pre-fight, Bas Rutten struggles to express what he wants to say in an interview with Herring. Bas is not good at conducting interviews. Bless his heart.
So we needed Eddie, man. We needed Eddie. Now he's all gone.
What he lacks in eloquence, Bas more than makes up for with passion. Cor Hemmers is also in the locker room with Heath, Herring, and Bas, a famous Dutch kickboxing trainer who has a funny joke he wants to tell.
Cor, what did you think of him when you saw him for the first time?
Well, I think that's a hell of a job to make something out of this, you know.
The Sobolev appears to have a deeper pro MMA career than I have info on, similar to other Russian fighters previously seen in Pride. I'm looking at you, Igor Borisov. During his walkout, Quadros mentioned that he is the Russian Army MMA champion with 20 fights to his credit. He's also a Sanda kickboxing champion. Sanda kickboxing is much like shoot boxing, which is it's kickboxing with takedowns. That's what I wanted to say. Here is where I will tell you to go watch our special, Two Dudes, Booze, and MMA, which features Shuto XX, which features shoot boxing, if you're wondering what the fuck that is.
And it features us shooting some alcohol down our throats.
Yes. Herring makes his way to the ring in his iconic cowboy duster outfit.
Wait. What's that I see? Is it 3 Undertakers?
Yeah,
oh my God, it is.
Yes. His cornermen also don the getup as they come to the ring. At the stare down, Bas Rutten is really stretching reality. He says Herring's hair is almost the same color as the Dutch flag, despite his hair not even coming close to being the right colors.
Colorful guy. Look at his hair. He's got purple and red and white. It's almost the Dutch flag, red, white, and blue.
But we'll just go with Bas.
See, first of all, for me, Heath Herring just looks like he just blew a clown. Cause like
he just blew a clown.
Like he has weird hair color, but just the front part, and then the same with his his beard is weird color, but just parts of it.
Yes.
So I was like, did he just blow a clown? I was like, I don't know. And also, the announcer still has no fucking idea how to pronounce Heath Herring.
No. Well, let's do it. The bell rings for round 1, and Heath flies out with a straight front kick before shooting low. Sobolev sprawls, but is on his back shortly after. Herring hammers down with punches, a knee, then quickly cinches up an Americana, and Sobolev is tapping. Quick finish, Heath Herring, winner via submission after 22 seconds of the first round.
Again with the knees to the head.
He stopped Anthony Inoue in the last Pride.
He's going for the armbar. Watch this. He's going to go for it. There we go.
There it is. The key lock. And he taps out quick. Oh, that was quick. Heath Herring in that key lock. You don't want to be underneath the side mount of Heath Herring. He's going to go for that Americana, as Bas said.
Thoughts on this fight?
Jesus Christ, man. Are they going to hire real fighters? Because first we have Inoue just getting destroyed. Well, no. First we have Bobby, who barely did anything.
Yeah.
Then we had Inoue, who just got demolished. And now we have this fucking fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who is this Russian and why was he brought in for this fight? Fast finished, but it wasn't even very satisfying because there was no drama, there was no build-up, nothing. It was just, that's it.
Yeah, no, it was just ridiculous. 3 fights that last barely any time. I'm like, get some goddamn competition up in here, man.
So what would become of our 2 lanky lobbers here? Heath will be back in action at Pride 14, Clash of the Titans, 2 months later in May, where Vitor Belfort will take him on. As for the Sobolev, he would return to Russia and would not fight again until 2004, where he would face off against another Denis Podolochin, in the West Siberian Fighting Championships number 10. Denis would win. The Sobolev Denis. Proving that Denis is a popular name in the motherland, Denis would have another fight against another Denis later in his career. Denis Kumkin, this time losing to Denis.
Now, wait. In a fight like that, who would you say is the menace?
Oh, God. Boom, 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 boom. There's a bad good vibe joke for you. I'm going to have to put in the sound effect. Sobolev would... Oh, no, I got to go back. The Sobolev would fight until 2007, amassing a total of 4 wins, 7 losses in his career. His final MMA appearance came at Star of Peretzvit, where he would fight 3 times, winning only once, including his battle against Komkin. Das Vidanya, Sobolev. On to fight number 4 tonight, which sees Dan Henderson, who was 30 years old at the time, with a record of 9-1, taking on Renzo Gracie, who was 34 years old and had a record of 9-2-1. It's a matchup that was teased at Ring's King of Kings tournament 1999. Renzo had been in the B block of the tournament, and Dan was in the A block. Renzo made it to the quarterfinals before losing to Kiyoshi Tamura, who would lose eventually to Ronaldo Sobel, who would eventually face Dan in the finals. So I guess it was kind of potentially teased. Renzo is another man, much like Herring, who had a birthday 3 weeks prior to our event here. His was March 11th. Herring's birthday, meanwhile, I didn't mention it, was March 9th. Geezer tidbit. Pre-fight, we cut to Dan Henderson mid-interview. He says Renzo is going to want to take him down to the ground.
Well, he's got to take me down, which has happened plenty of times in the past, but I'm probably a little bit harder to take down.
Meanwhile, Renzo, he's a lovely guy, very joking in his interview, and talks about choking out his daughter's boyfriend.
What about within the Gracie family? Is there anyone you want to fight?
Oh, my daughter. She can put a beating on me every time, and she can take whatever she wants from me without, I cannot even argue with her. I choked her first boyfriend because nobody told me about it. It just caught me by surprise, so I get in the house, I saw someone watching TV in my house, and I asked my wife, who's that one? Who's this guy in the living room? She goes, oh, it's just a friend from school. And my nanny goes, no, it's her boyfriend. So it's the friend, boyfriend. I lost my temper, I went there and choked him.
No walkouts for our fighters, just a quick recap, kind of weird. Look who it is, Randy Couture is in Henderson's corner. Couture looks huge compared to Henderson. Meanwhile, Ricardo Almeida and brother Ryan Gracie are in Renzo's corner. Machine, why don't you take us through this fight?
Well, first, Henderson's my favorite fighter to this day. Big fan, so. All right, it starts off, they walk around each other a little bit. Renzo throws a low kick and swing and a miss. He goes for the takedown, which is stuffed. Hendo sprawls right away, stuffed the takedown. Gets back up, throws right hand, which connects on Hendo. He misses a kick after that. Goes for the takedown again, and his stuffed, and then Hendo with the flurry of short knees and punches to the head from north-south position. They get back up into the clinch, and he shoots for another takedown again from the clinch, and Hendo stuffs him again. More punches and knees on the ground to the head to the stand-up again. Renzo with the low kick. Goes to shoot again, and goes for the sprawl once more. Henderson sprawls, catches him with a short uppercut inside, and they were saying it looked like he hit his head on the mat, but on the replays it shows that it was a nice short uppercut to the inside, followed up by 2 more, a left-right to the head, to the KO, and he's out.
He is getting the worst of those punching and kicking exchanges, although that did land. Oh, he's knocked out. Renzo Gracie has been knocked out. I'm not sure if it was from the...
Yeah, Renzo is out. His ragdoll body is...
It just hits the ground.
Yeah.
I'm with Bouts and I'm with Quadros. I thought he knocked himself out. I thought he just slammed his face against the mat, right. And in just the right angle to fuck himself up. I don't know, but it looked like he sprawled, failed, and then.
But it was just the scene of Renzo's limp body being rocketed back when Henderson hits him with that left, and he just flies back. And Henderson immediately was apologetic. He realized, oh fuck, he's knocked out. I didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson winner via KO at 1 minute and 40 seconds of the first round.
Yeah, that uppercut coming in, it was very sneaky. Caught him at just right at the edge of the chin right here, and that was it. It gave him 2 more, just not really super hard, just crisp punches, but he was done.
Yeah, Boss is confused at what happened, thinking Renzo hit his head on the ground. and Gracie attempts to raise Renzo, giving him sweet kisses to revive him. Very sweet. and is a sweet guy. Sorry he's gone. Renzo asks everybody around him what happened, and it's only on the replay that we actually get to see a clear shot of it. Henderson timed a short right perfectly as Renzo went low, and wow, also very sharp take by Boss as Henderson is walking to the back. Rutan talks about how wrestling and good hands is a deadly combination in MMA.
And wrestling, the combination of wrestling, being a good wrestler with good hands, it's a deadly combination.
It really is, because if you can't take a man down and you can't beat him in boxing, you're in a bad situation.
Boys, any final thoughts on Hendo versus Renzo here?
Well, Henderson was way prepared for the takedown on this one, and he just every time he shot, he was ready with the sprawl.
I mean, to me, I was surprised because it's the first time that someone's landed themselves into a KO like that. Because I mean, most of the momentum of that hit was Gracie just going for the takedown.
Yeah.
I mean, the Henderson did put the fist up, and that's okay. But like most of the momentum was just Gracie just messing it up. And I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Boss. Is like, you know, we've had how many fights now, and they've been like less than 10 fucking minutes.
No, it's actually been less than 6 minutes.
I was like, holy shit, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Surprising result. Dan had his mind right in this fight as he clearly sharpened up his sprawling technique. We also get a peek at the scary power Dan hides in his right hand, although, as Goodbye mentioned, it was probably more so Renzo's forward momentum, but Dan's right hand is a bomb. What would become of our 2 tanned grapplers here? Dan Henderson will be back for more action at Pride 14, Clash of the Titans, where Akira Soji will rise to take him on. As for Renzo, we won't see him again until Pride 17, Championship Chaos, where he will take on Michiyoshi Ohara, a Japanese professional wrestler who will be making his MMA debut. See you then, boys!
My opponent this time is a great opponent, very strong, and he's a big champion. He's a great athlete, and like everybody knows, he's the #1 right now. He won the Pride Grand Prix. I think you should be careful with everything. You gotta be careful on the feet, on the ground. I gotta be careful in the whole fight. Whatever I'm going to be, I'm gonna be careful. He's heavier, but I'm ready to give my life if I have to.
He's a very talented fighter. He's very experienced. He's been around for a long time. He's well-rounded in all aspects of fighting, on the feet, on the ground. He comes from Brazil, which is a strong tradition for fighters. So he will have a big heart. We don't quit in him. So I will expect a tough fight. Keep the fight on the feet, and I'm going to try to knock him out.
ただいまより第5試合を行います。
And now for the 5th match.
青コーナーよりアラン・ゴエス選手の入場です。
Okay, boss, Allan goes from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is one of the best jiu-jitsu men in mixed martial arts.
Oh yes, he's for sure.
Well, you go to the ground with this guy, if he's on the bottom, he gave Kazushi Sakuraba
a run for his money.
Oh, definitely. Because he's got a great guard, he's got a good triangle choke and a good arm bar, and he's got a good up kick from the bottom. If you stand up over him, He can knock people out with that kick. Yep.
赤コーナーよりマーク・コールマン選手の入場です。
Okay, here he is, Mark the Hammer Coleman. Coleman came in early in his career and dominated the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He won 2 titles there. He won UFC 10, and that was on July 12, 1996. And he beat Don Fry in the finals. And at that time, Don Fry was the top fighter in the sport. He was dangerous. He was a wrestler that could box.
Yep.
And there was, he beat Gary Goodridge in that tournament. And he came in with all the strength in the world. And he was the guy, the preeminent ground and pound guy was this guy, Mark Coleman. He won UFC 11 also. That was a short time later in September of 1996.
On to fight 5 of the evening, which sees Mark Coleman, who was 36 years old and had a record of 11-4, taking on Allan Goes, who was 29 years old and had a record of 5-1-2. Coleman marks his return to Pride since winning the 2000 Grand Prix, and since then he hasn't fought in MMA at all, nearly a year's time. In that absence, Mark decided to get paid with Japanese pro wrestling appearances. In December of 2000, he debuted at the Inoue Boombaya 2000, teaming with Mark Kerr. Holy shit. Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman as a professional wrestling tag team.
You said you got. Did you get the event, by the way?
I have the event.
All right, this is a special event. We're gonna do this.
Watch this.
Yeah,
Dude, this has. Get this. This Inoue 2000 Boombaya event is a massive fucking show featuring a who's who of MMA stars wrestling, including Akira Soji, Cole Uno, Daijiro Matsui, Alexander Otsuka, Boss Rutan, my fave, Yuhi Sano, Rico Rodriguez, Sakuraba, Gary Goodridge, Naoya Ogawa, Don Fry, Ken Shamrock,
Jesus,
Nobuhiko Takada, and even Renzo Gracie taking on Big Chin Inoue himself.
1 second. You know what time it is. You said it.
Oh, Takada.
Fuck you, Takada.
Yes. We just might have to watch.
There is no just might. We are watching this.
And this is this Inoue Boombaya 2000 was, I think, this one is all works, so it's all pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But future Inoue Boombayas would be real MMA. So this one is a rare treat. Yes, definitely have to watch it. We last saw Allan Goes at Pride 9, winning a decision against Vernon Tiger White. That was back in June of 2000. Since then, he has not fought at all.
I'm going to jump in here real quick.
Yeah.
That Goes guy, I remember the one fight where he was laying on his back, kicking like a screaming child in the store.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And so every time this guy fights, that's all I think of. It's a screaming child who couldn't get the sugary cereal he wanted, kicking and screaming on the floor.
That was against Sakuraba, I believe, yeah. Will ring rust be an issue for either men since they haven't fought in a while? We shall see. Pre-fight, Coleman says he definitely feels pressure to win this fight.
And you won the Grand Prix, which was held last May. Do you feel any pressure that you have to win this match?
Definitely, I'm feeling the pressure. I feel like I have to win, and I'm going to win.
Coleman says he wants a knockout tonight since he hasn't had one in a while. As for Goes, backstage he makes sure to remind us that Coleman is a heavyweight and he is a middleweight.
First, Mark Coleman is a heavyweight, I'm a middleweight. For me, that's a personal challenge because I prepare myself to fight anybody.
But he's a warrior, and he's here to fight anybody. Also, Goes' English is pretty fucking good. Both walkouts are included in our rip here, and Goes is out first, who has Vitor Belfort.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Play-by-Play Commentator. The Colombian good vibe, therefore you know it's going to be amazing, it's going to be awesome. First side note, I do not know how to fucking spell commentator. I tried like four fucking times.
Don't you have autocorrect on that?
Yeah, but I tried to do it myself. Couldn't fucking work it. So, before I even start, before the pre-fight, I need to get this out of my system because I know it's going to be terrible regardless. So here we go. Here we goes. I hope this all goes well, and no matter how it goes, or where it goes, it hopefully all goes right. Alright, now I got that out of my system. Alright, okay. So, pre-fight. Now that we're done, let's get on to it. First of all, so Go's entrance, I gotta say, his accompaniment is the most random assortment of people dressed up like random, like none of them have like a uniform of any way, shape, or form. I mean, to me, that's just weird. But the music works. The music works. And I don't know if you guys noticed, as he's walking into the ring, he's helped by what I can only assume is a ninja on vacation. Because that like, did you guys see that? Like, is the person that's like holding the ropes for him literally looks like a fucking ninja.
I missed that. I didn't see the ninja.
You missed it? Oh my god. So by the way, the entire time Goes is coming into the ring, Quadros is not very hopeful of his fucking chances. Because he's like, all he's got is wrestling, and he's gonna get out wrestled by Coleman.
But yeah, that's kind of a given.
Yeah. So then, Mark the Hyman Coleman coming in with what I can only assume is music ripped off a level Street Fighter, man. Yeah. Because it just sounds technical. Yeah, it sounds amazing. I'm not going to lie. It's a video game person. I'm all about that shit. But I will say, note how his posse is all like uniform, man. They all wearing nice shirts and everything. Nice to see Gary, by the way.
Hammer. Yeah, shout out to Gary Goodrich. Our first Pride Res shirt is going to be coming soon. Very soon. I'll just say that.
I missed him when he came in, and then as he was walking into the ring, I saw him. I'm like, hey, fuck yeah, man. I mean, to me, when you're in a uniform, that looks more confident, but whatever. So, and by the way, not sure I've mentioned this before, Coleman looks like a discount Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
I think I have.
That's a bit of a stretch.
I think I have mentioned it before.
Coleman has dropped some weight for this, and I think they said he dropped 20 pounds or something like that.
Jesus.
He's 220 pounds as opposed to like normal 250 pounds. So.
Wow. All right. Well, before the fight starts, we have the cameraman tries to get like a shot of Coleman's tattoo on his arm or his armpit. One of the two. Fails miserably because Coleman puts his arms down and the camera's like, all right, I quit. Then goes on. All right, so now we're going to get to the actual fight, finally, right? Round 1 starts, and Ghost tries some goddamn awful kicks. Just awful. Just not only once, not twice, but 3 times, man. Even, like, what was that, like a roundhouse?
Yeah, I don't know if he was just trying to...
Yeah, like psych him out or something. Yeah, but they were just awful. Like I have here, man, it looked more like for show than anything. Goes for the takedown. But gets stuffed and gets taken down instead. And Coleman gets some amazing body blows, man. Like, you could feel those, like, 3 blows right to the side. It was pretty impressive.
Even to grinding away that right hand.
Good body again.
Now, Allan's got to be careful with the knees here.
And then lands an impressive knee, which at the time, I didn't know knees were legal. So I was like, are these legal? Because this is what I said. I didn't catch that they were now legal. But I'm like, well, it's happening. The ref is fucking standing. Clearly, it's going to keep going. And then a second knee comes and, holy shit. Allan goes his fucking out. Yeah. After 2 goddamn knees.
Coleman should throw a knee here to the top of Allan's head. There we go. There it is. He's not going to be able to take too many. Oh, he's knocked out. Is he knocked out?
I think he's out. I think he's knocked out.
He's out. He's out.
Oh my God.
He's out.
Barely
He's out.
Yeah, his body's
He's
limp.
out. The ref calls it. But wait, whoa. What's this? Allan is back up, and he is wanting to keep on fighting, man. Oh, yeah. I don't think he's aware that the fight ended, and just fucking goes for Coleman. Entire fucking ring comes in to try to help him.
Look at this. Look at this. He's attacking Mark. He doesn't know what to do. Mark wants to hit him.
A little controversy in the ring there.
This is fucking crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knocked him the fuck out. He gave him like 2 extra ones when he was clearly done. He was clearly done.
Yeah, his body was limp, and his body reacts to the force of the knee coming in.
Yeah. Just like if you're shocking something, like just to see its muscle movement, that's what it looked like because that's on, actually, if you go on YouTube, that's on Coleman's highlight reel of him doing that to them at those from north-south position, just cracking him in the head with those knees. It was brutal.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, listeners. I'm very saddened that my intro of puns was pretty much longer than the goddamn fight.
Yeah, strange bit at the end of the fight here. It was hilarious watching Mark Coleman's, like, he doesn't know how to react to this fucking sleepwalking fighter who's grabbing him. It looks like he wants to destroy him, but he's like, this guy's fucked up.
And everyone's trying to get them separated. So Coleman's like, I can't really land this because people are aware I'm not supposed to punch him.
It's almost like Coleman is being attacked by a child, and he really wants to destroy him. But he can't bring himself to do it. Like, Mark Coleman's like face and reaction to this is fucking.
They hug at the end. I think Coleman kind of like head tapped him a bit. You know, I thought I was gonna get. I thought it might go from there because Coleman used to be known for headbutting the shit out of you when that was still legal.
And I don't know if Coleman still like really realized that Allan Goes was fucking out. Like he was just reacting on instinct. It was just like he was out. And he was back up, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta grab this fucking guy."
I think it happened to plenty of guys who got knocked out, and they just.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. They wrestle the referee.
You can't see. Is what it is. You can still hear and are aware of things around you, but you can't see shit, so you're just grabbing a leg.
And I think that's what happens. And I think Coleman figured it out because he was about to lay that punch, and then realizes, hey. He's just keep going because there's people trying to pull him apart, and he's still going. So it's like,
he don't know where the fuck he's at.
He's not in control, man.
After the fight, Inoue lumbers into the ring looking like the Godfather. And of course, at this time, Inoue and Pride were extremely tight, with Pride obviously sharing most of their talent for Inoue's pro wrestling event in December of 2000. And Inoue had a commissioner role in Pride. And then there was, of course, the Yakuza ties between Inoue and Pride. Inoue has a belt for Coleman, a belt that isn't the Grand Prix belt and one that can't hold a candle to it. What's it for exactly? I'm not sure. Also, thank you, Quadros, for this tidbit on the new round structure, which they didn't mention it before. He mentioned the strikes allowed before, but he didn't mention the new round times. Quadros mentions it here.
But I will say this. I found it funny when the Chin, hands Coleman the belt, because the thing I've always found the funniest about MMA wrestling is for sports of people that don't wear pants, belts are very involved.
True. That's true. Any last thoughts on this fight, boys?
It was a bad mismatch. Coleman's started as a heavyweight, went down to light heavyweight, but that goes, guys. Like a middleweight can go up to light heavy. I think it was a bad matchup. I don't know what he was trying to prove against Coleman. It was just I don't think it was a good fight for him to take.
No, I'm with the machine on this. Like, it makes me wonder who set up this match. Was it more like Allan Goes trying to prove himself, or was it the Pride people thinking, "Oh, this be fucking hilarious"?
Well, they do that stuff in like Ryzen right now. They'll take like 30-pound weight differences and put them against each other as long as you want to do it, and both fighters agree. You know what I mean? I've seen one. It was a girl fight. It was like she was like 195 versus a girl who was like 160.
Yeah, that giant girl. I forget what her name. Gabriella something.
Well, no, there's some German woman. The last one I watched from like the Yokohama or whatever, and she was like 195 versus the 160. But the 160 girl was like tearing her up. So
yeah, I'm not against an open weight division. If you think you're a badass and you can prove it against a bigger guy, I'm all for it. But I think this might have been a case of Pride stacking, kind of helping Coleman out here. They gave him, this is how Pride would be accused of fixing fights. They would take, obviously, a smaller fighter, maybe on short notice, put him up against.
It's not exactly fixed, but it's just stacking the odds way in somebody else's favor.
Which, honestly, that is a fix because, like the most dangerous man alive today said, if you get first of all, it's already a smaller fighter. Second of all, you don't give him that much notice to practice.
Yeah, I don't know what the time frame of notice here was, but Pride was notorious for that. They would tell you, like 2 weeks before, oh yeah, no, you're fighting this guy.
Yeah, so that's just fucking bullshit.
I thought Mark looked great. He was slim. I was worried he might have come back and been a little lazy, taken down Goes and just laid on top of him. But he went 100 miles an hour. I think he's grateful that strikes to a downed opponent in any position are allowed because
it definitely helped him.
If unless Goes was on his back, he couldn't throw those knees, and Coleman was an expert at those knees to a guy in the front headlock.
From north-south position like that. Yeah, he was a master at that. That's one of the reasons I think they started getting rid of that, like from the downed
Yeah.
And that's because if somebody like Coleman got a hold of you like that, that's the end of you.
Yeah. Goes was at a huge disadvantage here, especially against this version of Coleman. Coleman looked great. So yeah. What would become of our two sweaty, swollen swingers here? Mark Coleman will return for action in September of 2001 at Pride 16, Beasts from the East, where he will take on Minotauro Nogueira. As for Goes, he will make only one more appearance in Pride, which will happen at Pride 18, Cold Fury 2 in December of 2001, where he will take on Alex Steibling, who will be making his Pride debut. See you then, boys!
とにかく前に出ないとみんな勝ってる人はみんな前に出てますから前に出れないで負けるっていうのはなんか自分の中で考えられないどうせ負けるんだったらラッキーパンチもらってもいいから前に出て負けたいと思う相撲でやったら僕が 100% 勝つし空手でやったら僕が 100% 負けるでしょうけどプライドリーグでやっても僕が 100% 勝つというふうに頭の中で思ってますまあ佐竹選手が悪いですけど、彼に僕を一発で KO する蹴りもなければパンチもないと思ってますけど自分でシミュレーションするとどうしても1分かからないんですよね僕は勝つようになってるんですよ相撲時代もここだけやってメジャーなエアにいたしプロレス入ってからも新日本という一番のメジャーなところにいたんですけどただ単に相撲をやってたっていうだけで出た人とは違うっていうのを見せたいと思います空手をまだ一からやり直してトレーニングしたんで体重もね13キロぐらい落ちまして、実質一番ピークが15キロしたんですけどそういう中でかなり絞れて打撃っていうのはかなりいい感じでできたと思うしこの1年間、試合で5試合もやってきてで悟ったのはバカ力だけじゃ勝てないっていうのが分かったことだしやっぱり僕らが空手目指している武道家っていうのはやっぱりそういう中で力だけじゃなくて脱力の中の力っていうのをこのバリというのが通用するかどうかっていうのを、一つの目的として戦ってみたいと思ってるしやっぱり相撲とにも圧力ってどんなものかなっていうのも一つワクワクしてるし楽しみですねここが1本ですが僕は3秒以上倒すぐらいの気持ちで持ってますからね
Ladies and gentlemen, ただいまより本日の第6試合を行います。
And now for the sixth match.
青コーナーより安田忠雄選手の入場です。
In the blue corner, from Japan,
Tadao Yasuda, 37 years old, 6'5", 286 pounds, pro wrestler making his mixed martial arts debut.
Yeah, but pro wrestling, we have Fujita, we have Sakuraba coming from the pro wrestling. Is he going to do the same thing? That's what is on everybody's mind. He looks impressive, and when we interviewed him, he looked really calm and full of confidence.
Satake Masaaki 選手の入場です。
You know, I love when Satake comes out with the Godzilla theme. I love this. This is the original Godzilla theme from the original movie, I believe.
I didn't know that, but I always said, I think this is, I saw it the first time I saw him coming up. It was in the K1, and he had this music, and everybody started standing up and applauding. I think it's the greatest song, the greatest intro song.
Satake has said against Yasuda that he will use movement, punching and kicking, and he predicts he'll knock out Yasuda early.
On to our next fight of Collision Course, which sees Masaaki Satake, 35 years old, and with an MMA record of 1-3. He's taking on newcomer Tadao Yasuda, who was 37 years old and was making his MMA debut.
By the way, before you begin even this fight, I want to point out I was confused on who was who in this fucking fight.
What do you mean?
Because
You've seen Satake before.
I know, but I forgot the name. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I recognize the guy, but the thing is, like, when they were entering, like, Bouts and Quadros were talking about both fighters, so like back and forth, like mixing the names. I was like, okay, which one am I talking about now? Because the only reason I found out is because I had to fucking Google goddamn
Yasuda?
No, Satake's entrance.
Oh, his Godzilla.
Yeah, I just call him the mushroom because it's easier for me to remember, like shiitake mushroom.
Yeah, but I fucking love his Godzilla entrance song.
Satake is back after his loss to Ogawa at Pride 11, and it's fitting that after fighting 2 pro wrestlers in a row, Satake now fights a third. His first fight of this pro wrestling trilogy came at Pride 10, where Satake fought Kazunori Murakami. Remember this dipshit from Pride 1? Anyway, just who is this Yasuda fellow? Born in Tokyo, Japan, Tadao took up the time-honored tradition of sumo wrestling at age 15 in 1979. Donning the sumo name Takanofuji, he never achieved much success while he did sumo, even though he was able to earn 2 gold stars for victories over Yokozuna. Those 2 victories came against the same Yokozuna, someone you might have heard of, Koji Katao. That's right, Koji Katao. He never achieved Yokozuna rank himself, and he retired from sumo wrestling in May of 1992. Shortly after, he decided to take up the time-honored tradition of pro wrestling, joining New Japan Pro Wrestling and debuting in 1994, and that is what he's been doing ever since. In fact, he was one of the many men at the aforementioned Inoki Bumbaya 2000, and he wrestled against Naoya Ogawa at that event. And that brings us here to Pride 13. Tadao is a big dude at 6'5" and 286 pounds. He's probably 80 pounds heavier than Satake. He comes to the ring with Fujita in his corner. Satake comes out to the original Godzilla theme. And doesn't Fujita come out to a Godzilla theme himself? I'm pretty sure. So there's some kind of storyline rivalry going on here with Godzilla themes.
See, for me, Godzilla is like the most obvious of fat jokes.
Yes. According to Quadros, Satake is going to use the invisible kick. Boss says it's a very fast kick, and thank God for replay.
This fight, he will use the invisible kick.
Which is a very fast kick?
Evidently so. It's so fast you can't even see it.
Oh my God. So, thank God for replay.
It better be faster than the speed of light to have that name. Ridiculous claim from Satake as related by Quadros. Satake said he can break 4 baseball bats with a single shin kick.
Satake says he can break 4 baseball bats with a single shin kick.
Ooh. Like, in a row, all at once?
Haven't you ever seen that movie Best of the Best when they were doing that in their training montage? Yeah, they put all the baseball. He just did it by the neck. He didn't break it by the barrels.
Okay, yeah, okay. If you're gonna break it by the thinnest part of the baseball, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it by the barrels.
Let's get on with it. And Machine's going to kind of check out for a bit here as he didn't watch this fight. Round 1, the bell rings. Masaaki pegs Yasuda with a right. Yasuda tries to grab him. Yasuda has a body lock, pushes Satake around into the corner. Satake tries to punch his head. Yasuda pushes for a takedown, but Satake holds the ropes. The ref calls for a break, and Yoshida is in beast mode as he doesn't hear the call for a stoppage, and he still tries to squeeze Satake. Then Satake gets a yellow card for holding the ropes. On a restart, more Yasuda grappling, and we're back in the corner. Satake is doing great at staying up, but Yoshida isn't really pushing for a takedown.
I mean, at this is the point of the fight where, to me, it's like I can see what's gonna happen now because it's the same thing over and over again, and it kind of sucks. Because it's nothing but the weight differential, you know. Yeah. You have a big guy that's just pushing the other guy around. The other guy just doesn't want to fucking do jack shit.
Yeah, ref breaks them up again. Nice right by Satake, but Yoshida grabs him and powers him into the corner. Boss hilariously predicts a KO.
The way it goes now, I predict a KO.
Ha! Not fucking likely. Quadros comes up with a new term for this position. As opposed to lay and pray, he's calling it lock and bolt.
I came up with a new term called lay and pray, where the wrestler or ground fighter takes the kickboxer down and stays on and prays it doesn't stand back up. I've got a new one for you, boss.
Okay.
We're going to call this one lock and bolt.
I would have called it hold and hope. Knees by Yasuda. Ref separates them again. Now Yasuda gets a yellow card for, I guess, stalling. On the restart, the same thing happens. We're back in the corner. Yasuda has boasted that he was going to kill Satake in just a few seconds. How's that working out for you, Yasuda? Another break by the ref. Guess what happens on the restart? I'll give you one guess, fans. The first correct guess in the comment section wins a free Gary Goodridge t-shirt. If you guess that Yasuda tries to grab Satake as Satake punches at him and then they move to the corner, you win the shirt.
Oh my god, it's so fucking boring.
This unsurprisingly happens again just a few moments later, and the crowd lets Yasuda have it.
He's got to move. Got to move. He's moving straight back. That's the problem. When Yasuda charges in, Satake moves straight back.
Corner fighting. Satake beats on Yasuda's head, and Yasuda responds. 1 minute left, and that's all that really happens in round one. Between rounds comment from me, I like Satake. He's kind of a dorky looking guy, but I like his looks. He's a cool dude.
I mean, for me, like you said, he's a cool looking dude. I mean, his intro video makes him look like someone stole his lunch money and he was angry, so started beating up people. But I mean, just the fucking weight difference. And I also, between rounds, I got really angry.
Oh.
Because fuck you, cameraman. There's ring girls in the fucking ring, and we get fucking shots of the corners. No, goddamn it. There's a reason those ring girls get paid money to dress like that, and I want to fucking see it.
Yeah, I agree. Round two, the bell rings. It's like Groundhog Day, the movie, as Yasuda charges in and grabs Satake, pushes him into the corner. More of the same. There's two knees by Satake. On the break, Satake manages to avoid the bull rush this time. Nice. The men actually trade in the center of the ring. Awesome, thank you. Yasuda then chases Satake around looking to grab him. Finally does, and we're back in the corner. The crowd doesn't like it.
Nice. Now he's going for it. He's going to the side. He's moving circles now. He's doing perfect. He had some real good instruction from his corner too, I think.
3 minutes remain. They fight in the corner. Boss sounds bored. Quadros talks about Fujita's ability to take a punch. Wonders if Yasuda has that ability too. They stay in the corner. Yasuda throws knees. A ref break late in the round. Yasuda grabs him again. The crowd revolts.
If Satake does land a shot and gets Yasuda moving backward, he'll beat him. But while Yasuda is moving forward, he's not going to beat him.
Then Yasuda takes Satake down, but the bell rings. That does it for round two. Yasuda looks very tired. Any thoughts? Nope.
I mean, just like you said, Yasuda looks fucking exhausted.
Yeah. Round three, immediately Yasuda grabs Satake. Ref break. Yasuda does the same thing, and I think the crowd has turned on him. Not much more to note here. Satake does escape at one point, but his punching looks terrible. Yasuda grabs him. Back in the corner, ref break. Yasuda...
Okay, I will say this. This third round, when he gets sent into, like, Yasuda, like, smacks him into the corner, there's a second where you can literally see Yasuda just let go of his arms. Like, he's not even fucking trying.
He's like
that should have been another card by the refs. Plain and fucking
it's
simple.
almost like he's doing now just a sumo.
Yeah, and just, like, laying on him. That's not a fucking fight.
Yeah.
The refs should have fucking caught that. The refs should have carded that, and that should have been it.
Yep. Let's see. Ref break. Yasuda grabs. They fight in the corner, and then the round ends. We'll go to the judges to learn the result of the fight, which is...
Judge Yasuda. Judge Satake. Judge Yasuda.
It's a split decision.
Yasuda, winner by split decision. Not sure if the crowd likes it. Quadros is just glad it was a split decision for Yasuda because he would have been very confused if they gave it to Satake. Good vibe, any thoughts on this fight?
I will say this. I was surprised that they gave it to Yasuda. Because, I mean, yes, he was slightly more aggressive with the charges, but he wasn't doing jack shit.
Right.
Meanwhile, you had, a couple of dodges and a couple hits to the face. I would have given it to him.
Yeah, one ref did. I think the other ref saw like Yasuda pretty much controlled 80% of the fight.
Yeah, but
he didn't do anything. But still, I guess you got to give it to him for being able to control Satake.
But and see, for me, seeing the weight difference, I wouldn't count it. I wouldn't have counted.
Yeah.
that.
Oh, the weight rule should have been enacted in this.
Yeah.
Remember they have that rule where if a fighter gives up more than 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I agree. Satake should have won.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Satake, and I could like Yasuda. But this fight fucking sucked. Yasuda was able to control it, and that's a Satake shortcoming. As this old, lumbering, former sumo wrestler should have been very easy to avoid. He could have did some leg strikes and took the power out of his charge. It boggles my mind that Yasuda couldn't muster more attacking while he controlled the fight. What the fuck did he think this was? Just a holding contest? Why didn't he fucking knee him? Why didn't he try and take him down?
Because he has no moves. He's a fucking pro wrestler.
Satake should have pulled a surprise takedown here. If I think when Yasuda was charging in, he would have went for the legs, took him down, could have changed the whole fight, but never happened. What would become of our two awesome action Japanese stars here? We'll see Satake back at Pride 15, Raging Rumble, where he'll take on, get this, Igor Vovchanchyn. I'm sorry, Masaaki. As for Yasuda, this would be it for his Pride career, though he would continue to fight in MMA until 2003. His next fight would be against Rene Ruiz at the K1 Andy Hugh Memorial 2001 in August of 2001. He would lose via head kick KO. In his next fight after that, Yasuda would surprise the world with a forearm choke submission win over Jerome LeBanner at the 2001 Inoue Bumbaya event. But that would be it for his victories. His next three fights would all be losses, including one against friend and ally Fujita in 2002 at a UFO event. And his last fight came at the Inoue 2003 Bumbaya event, a loss to Rene Ruiz once again, this time by a KO. He ended his MMA career with a record of 2-4. Yasuda would go back into pro wrestling after that. He had a brief hiatus in 2007 due to a suicide attempt in which he tried to carbon dioxide himself to death. He was saved by a friend, recovered, and wrestled until 2000. We'll see you some other time, Tadao.
ただいまより本日の第7試合を行います。
And now for the 7th match.
青コーナーよりトレイ・テリグマン選手の入場です。
Okay, here he comes. He is from Fort Worth, Texas, in the United States. Trey Trauma Telligman out of the Lion's Den, Ken Shamrock's gym. Now, Trey took this fight when his teacher, Ken Shamrock, was injured with a neck injury, and that happened, he took it, like 2 weeks' notice?
Yeah, 2 weeks. But the good thing about taking a fight on 2 weeks' notice is that you, it gives you a different feeling in your head, because there is now a reason also, people can understand if you lose. So he probably will go for it. And all the Lions Den guys, they always train. They train at full power. So taking the fight on 2 weeks' notice, he's always in training, you know, he only 2 weeks.
赤コーナーよりイゴール・ボブチャンチン選手の入場です。
Ice cold.
The two words say it. Ice cold. I've seen Igor fight a number of times. I've met Igor, you've met Igor. Igor he's got this almost like a choir boy personality.
Yeah.
He's shy, looks down, he's not a real smack talker, he doesn't make big interviews, big predictions. His answers are short when he's asked questions. And he's real nice, and he's got a big handshake, because that hand of his is like,
scary hand.
I mean, when that hand goes around your hand and you shake his hand, you think, wow, this guy could probably really punch hard with his hand. And then you see him punch really hard, and you think, oh my God.
And also when you hug him, your arms cannot go around. It's like one compact, solid rock.
This guy, if there were anyone in martial arts, mixed martial arts, that was built like a fire plug, it's this guy.
This guy, for sure.
He's built like a little linebacker or something.
He can punch from every position because he doesn't have to be afraid to break his hand. His bone structure is like 2 fingers of mine. It's like 1 finger of his.
And the thing is, with his hands, Whereas a lot of people like myself or you will make a fist, our knuckles press up against the skin. Yeah. He's got a layer of skin over his knuckles somehow. I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. It's scary.
This guy was built to punch people.
The next matchup will see Igor Vovchanchyn taking on Trey Telligman. Igor is 27 years old for this fight with a record of 46-3-1 no contest. Trey is 36 years old and had a record of 7-3-1. We last saw Igor at the last Pride 12, defeating Mark Kerr via decision. And Trey was last seen at Pride 9 back in June of 2000 where he lost to Carlos Barreto via decision. Since then, Trey hasn't fought at all. Pre-fight, we see Trey in the back with his Lion Den friend Guy Mezger. As for Igor, he's in the back with Gary Goodrich and Coleman. Coleman is indisposed, and we very nearly get to see a glimpse of his jock-strapped ass. Then it's revealed via interview with Trey that he is a last-minute replacement for Igor's original opponent, who was Ken Shamrock, who injured himself 2 weeks before the fight.
Jin, how do you feel about this?
I'm excited about it. It's a last-minute thing, and Ken got injured a couple weeks ago, and it's a big opportunity for me and I'm very thankful to be able to step in here and hopefully knock him out.
Trey seems resigned to his fate, and he admits he's nervous. On his walkout, Boss talks about the mindset of a fighter taking a fight on short notice, and Quadros makes sure to warn everyone who hasn't seen Trey fight before that he is in fact missing his right tit. Great walkout for Igor, and he comes to the ring with Alexander Otska for some reason. But it's interrupted when Ken Shamrock appears via some form of slut magic, and he's there to give Trey a hug. And wow, we get a surprise appearance by Tito Ortiz, who at the time was the UFC light heavyweight champion, and he had defended that belt at UFC 30 just a month prior, after a slam KO on Evan Tanner. I made mention of Dana White and his grand plan to make friends with Pride to help promote and gain exposure for UFC, and it appears that this has already started sooner than I had expected.
For a second, I thought Tito was actually fighting.
Tito is there to generally look like a giant douche, but also hand out flowers. There is some bad blood between Tito and the Lion's Den's guys, as Trey seems very uninterested in receiving the flowers. Tito and Ken Shamrock had a lot of bad blood, so you can see Ken Shamrock. Yeah. It's funny, he's trying to egg. He's like almost like smiling and egging Tito on, trying to get a reaction out of Tito. It's kind of weird. Igor is a bit more welcoming of Tito and his flowers. On to the fight, round 1. The bell rings, and well, someone hit the bell a little too hard as it rings for like 10 seconds.
I expect somebody to get punched in this fight.
They're both real heavy hitters.
Trey is light on his feet here.
Not to spoil anything, but Quadros might be a fucking psychic with his prediction right here.
If Trey outboxes Vovchanchyn, I believe Vovchanchyn will try for takedown.
I guess you could say Trey draws first blood with a very dainty jab. Leg kick by Igor. Igor looks a little hesitant here. Another leg kick by Igor, then Igor wades in with a flurry, getting a big rise from the crowd.
To use movement here. Vovchanchyn coming in with a swarm of punches.
Trey fires in a low kick that Igor grabs. The men exchange punches. Ken Shamrock looks like an even bigger douche than Tito with his fucking sideburns. Another exchange, then a straightened body kick by Igor. Trey with lots of pressure, keeping Igor on his heels.
I mean, I'm impressed that he stayed standing with Igor.
The crowd is impressed as they applaud the fact that Trey seems game to fight Igor and not pussy out with some takedown.
It's solid. It's like his whole body is built the same.
Vovchanchyn ducking down, not a good place to be if Trey Telligman has got a knee attack. He doesn't want to have his head down low like that.
Igor with heavy punches against the ropes, and the crowd is hyper tuned into this fight. And I have to note, the Japanese crowd has been awesome this whole event, and the Japanese during this era were the best crowd in the fucking world.
I will say, but even compared to other Pride events, the crowd this event was into the fights, even when it wasn't Japanese people.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't mention it during the Coleman fight, but yeah, with every strike that Coleman was doing, they were raising up their strike.
No, they were into the fight. No more silence like in the first few Prides.
There's a leg kick by Igor, then a chopping overhand right a moment after. Then a 1-2 leg kick by Igor. Trey crowds Igor. They get stuck in the ropes. Trey with a side kick push at Igor. A hard left, right, and then maybe dick kick by Igor. Igor gets a yellow card for his penis infraction.
Okay, that was bullshit. That should not have been a card. I mean,
it was a glancing shot at best. It wasn't like a full force kick,
and it wasn't like it was
a thigh.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was
but it was
aiming
still low.
It was kind of low, but Trey made it lower. Like he bent into that kick. Yeah. So I that's one of those things. I don't think it should have been a card.
Yeah, and are we gonna be here for a while? Because someone hits the button for the awesome Pride 90s music.
He's probably maybe one of the cleanest fighters there is in the business.
Yeah, because he doesn't need it also. This is a guy who's really secure, really confident on himself. He doesn't need things like that. He would never do that on purpose.
Trey's ready to go. The men shake hands. The fight restarts and Trey jabs, then a right. He goes for the body and Igor strikes back with furious punches, but Trey doesn't run and he steps back in and they exchange. Trey then straight up stubs Igor with a beautiful left hook, and Igor must have been out on his feet for a second as he shockingly tries for a takedown on pure instinct.
Overhand right. Trey Telligman answering back with a left hook.
Oh, and that was a good punch.
Igor swings wildly after. Trey pushes forward with punches. Igor needs a breather, so he grabs Trey, maybe tries for a takedown, and then pushes away. Trey with high confidence now as he swings at Igor with a 1-2. Igor goes low again, thinking of a takedown. There's a knee by Trey, then a body kick, followed by a low kick, and we're at the 5-minute mark of round 1. The men exchange lefts, but Trey's punch found its mark, and Trey tries to pounce on Igor, who is collapsing to the mat. Trey is on top of him, the crowd is stunned, and Quadros almost goes nuts.
Winded.
Yeah, whoa, good left.
Vovchanchyn's down! Vovchanchyn's down in the guard!
Trey gets in Igor's guard, and Igor has a mark on his forehead that looks like he's bleeding. Quadros says that if Igor falls to Telligman, it would be like Tyson versus Buster Douglas.
If Trey Telligman beats Igor Vovchanchyn, it will be Buster Douglas, Tyson. It will be Rocky Balboa.
Trey postures up, throws a couple strikes. I see some blood around Igor's mouth. Trey is active enough on the ground here, and I give him points for that. He stands up, leg kick, 3 minutes left. Trey teases a leap, but nothing comes of it. Then he goes back in the guard.
I mean, it's kind of crazy because that little break from the quote unquote nut hit really just seemed like threw Igor out of his game. Like after that, he wasn't as into it as when it began, because when it began, sure, they were trading, but Igor was getting the better of the trade.
Well, I'll say that Igor looked kind of hesitant through the first couple of minutes of the fight. Then, the kick happened. He looked out of breath in the corner, and then when it restarts, he gets hit with that beautiful left, which really hurt him.
Oh no, it did.
He was out on his feet for a split second.
I know, and that's what that's the thing is, I think like that kick really changed the tempo for him, which then made it so like he was out, like kind of out of it, and then gets hit, and then it's just a fucking chain reaction.
Around the 9-minute mark, Trey stands and Igor scrambles to his feet. Igor promptly throws a straight kick and falls on his ass. Trey gets back in the guard, then the bell rings for round 1. Quadros curiously says that he doesn't think Trey did enough to win the round. What? For real, Quadros? On to round 2, Igor starts with a leg kick. Trey tries a 1-2, high kick by Igor, then a right and body kick by Igor, left and right by Igor. Trey moves in and Igor with an over-the-top left. Trey hits the ropes, brief clinch, and the men trade. Trey rams in with a left hook. Igor goes back to the takedown, gets stuffed. On the ropes, Trey with a body lock, and he trips Igor down to the mat with 2 minutes remaining in round 2. Trey is in guard and doesn't do much. He is definitely not as active in this position as he was in round 1. We count down the seconds going to 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, then the bell rings, ending round 2. Igor's face looks all marked up, but as Boss had mentioned earlier in round 2, it's usual for him because of his translucent colored skin. Trey has some marks too. Round 3, leg kick by Igor. The men trade, clinch. Then Igor pours it on as Trey doesn't really respond. Trey goes for a takedown and he lifts and somewhat slams Igor down. Trey does marginal work before he stands and gets to half guard, but Igor tries to sweep him. Trey gets a very high half guard and he nearly gets mount but doesn't. There's 2 minutes left. Igor remains in full guard, and the ref repositions the fighters. The ref should stand him up instead. Trey postures up at the last minute, then stands, and then goes back to guard. Boo! Trey repeats this a little bit after. He stands, and Igor stands. Igor tries to throw some punches. They clinch, and then the bell rings. So who won that fight? Quadros is very impressed with Trey.
I'm impressed by Trey Telligman. I am really impressed by Trey Telligman.
We'll go to the judges to learn our decision, which is...
Judge Shiraki, Telligman. Telligman.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God, he won the fight.
Trey Telligman has beaten Igor Vovchanchyn on a unanimous decision.
Trey Telligman with the upset of the year, winning via unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Trey gets a Sky Satellite and a trophy, and Igor walks to the locker room, maybe stunned, and we're off to the main event. Good vibe. Thoughts on this fight?
I mean, it was just surprising because it started so well, started so even, but and I know Bouts and Quadros mentioned it, is Igor is not an he had no offensive plays on the ground. Like, he was just defensive, and he just couldn't get out of it. Like, he was dominated, plain and fucking simple, every time he went down. And Trey was able to get him down all 3 fucking rounds. So, yeah, I mean, Igor's a great striker, but he got outplayed, plain and simple.
Yeah, good fight. It was exciting enough. I think this is a case of Igor beating himself, as Trey didn't look like a world beater. I think he just had enough this night. Igor honestly looked wore down to me. And let's not forget, he had 2 full MMA careers at that point with 50 fights to his name. So who would become of our 2 downtrodden thumpers here? Igor will be back in short order at
Helping
Pride.
Frankenstein.
Igor will be eager to be back.
Igor is eager to get back into the ring at Pride 14 to take on Gilbert Eiffel. As for Trey, this would be it for his Pride career. In fact, he would only have 2 more fights left in him, both in the UFC. It would be over 2 years until his next fight would come at UFC 43 in June of 2003. His opponent was Pedro Rizzo. That fight ended with a doctor stoppage of Trey in the 2nd round. Another 2 years later, in August of 2005, and the last fight of Telligman's career came at UFC 54 against Tim Sylvia, who head-kicked, KO'd Trey at the very last second of the 1st round. Trey would end his career with a record of 7-5-1 and may or may not be training young fighters. I don't know. We'll see you around, Trey. The main event of our collision course sees Kazushi Sakuraba taking on Wanderlei Silva. Sakuraba was 31 years old with a record of 12-2-1 and 1 no contest. Silva was 24 years old with a record of 14-3 and 1. Both men are back after victories at Pride 12 in December of 2000. Silva beat Dan Henderson via decision there, and Sakuraba beat Gracie via decision as well. Pre-fight, what mysterious things go on behind the locked door of Sakuraba?
Okay, right now I'm standing in front of Kazushi Sakuraba's locker room. He's the only one who gets a private room, and what he does in here before a fight is a mystery to us. As usual, the doors are locked. No media, no interviews before a fight. And people from his team have been coming in and out, and I've been trying to get a peek, but, I don't even know if he's in here, for heaven's sake. Usually he eats, maybe he takes a nap, and sometimes he even plays video games.
Risa just doesn't know, but maybe he eats, takes naps, and plays video games. Like, for real? Is that what he does? He's just taking naps and playing video games?
I can be a fighter now.
Yes. In his interview, Silva says he doesn't need to study film of Sakuraba as he trains the same for everybody. No entrances for our fighters, which is kind of weird, just straight to the ring. And oh God, there's Tito again. Wanderlei totally ignores him and his flowers, since there is likely bad blood between the 2 men. A year prior, Tito had beaten Wanderlei at UFC 25 via decision. But Sakuraba takes the flowers and he gets a kiss from Tito. Ha! Gay? The stare down. Well, Sakuraba doesn't really stare at Silva. Silva stares a hole through him, and Sakuraba just kind of looks away. We need to do this. Are you guys ready? Any comments?
Oh, no, I'm ready. By the way, I will say this. Even though Sakuraba's older, Silva looks like shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got, Yes.
He's always kind of look like shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like for the age difference, like Sakuraba looks hella younger.
Round 1, the bell rings. Silva opens the bout with a jab, backs Sakuraba up, and Sakuraba with a leg kick, then barrage by Silva against the ropes. Sakuraba ducks, eats a knee. Nice left by Sakuraba. He eats a straight right by Silva, then clubs Silva with a huge right. Silva hits his knees. Silva grabs him. He has a body lock against Sakuraba against the ropes. The men trade. Then Sakuraba goes headhunting on Silva. Tie clinch by Silva. A single knee from Silva. Then he clips Sakuraba with a classic Silva 1-2. Sakuraba hits the mat. Silva has him in a front headlock. Knees Sakuraba. They both stand. Silva is all over Sakuraba. A knee buckles Sakuraba. And then Silva, as if he's a soccer player, goes for the game-winning kick to the net as he tries to murder Sakuraba's head. Sakuraba tries to grab Silva's ankles. Still more kicks that mostly miss. Silva is back to kneeing Sakuraba. Sakuraba rolls to his back and Silva nails him with a kick that brings the ref in to stop the fight. Silva, winner via TKO at 1 minute and 38 seconds of the first round.
Sakuraba trading with Wanderlei. Sakuraba, oh, good right hand by Sakuraba! He knocked Wanderlei Silva down. He knocked Wanderlei down with the right hand. Unbelievable. But Wanderlei has been in this position too a few times before. Sakuraba shooting for a knockout here. He's got to make sure he doesn't do one of those knees. Yeah. Oh, Sakuraba had this. This is the new rule. These are allowed. Sakuraba cannot stay in this position. Wanderlei, this fight may not go the distance at this pace. Sakuraba down, going for bad position here. Sakuraba could be knocked out any second. He's got to get the leg. Sakuraba's going to be knocked out. He's going to be knocked out. He's got to get up. And he's going to get a leg. Remember with Coleman when he fought. He's going to knock Sakuraba out. Sakuraba cannot take these knees. He cannot. Sakuraba's got to tuck and roll. He's got to pull guard. Oh my God, the referee calls the fight. Unbelievable.
Crowd is stunned. My God, what a fight. Sakuraba is bloody and there's no doubt it was a right and proper stoppage. Curiously, Quadros says that if there was any accusations that Sakuraba was being protected by pride, this fight proves that they aren't.
If there was any question about whether Sakuraba was being protected, that question is answered tonight. Yes.
Sakuraba straps his very own Saku belt around Silva's waist, and Silva talks to the crowd. No idea what he's saying as it's translated into Japanese, but Quadros says that Silva says he will fight Sakuraba again if Sakuraba wants to. Sakuraba then gets on the mic, and this is seriously the first time I believe we have ever actually heard from Sakuraba on the mic. Sakuraba says he does want to fight Silva again.
I think the real good thing in Honor also would be him against Vitor Belfort.
I think they should have a 185-pound weight division for Renzo and Sakuraba, and people that weigh 185, because the 15 pounds is significant now.
Yeah, it's too much power.
Our awesome event ends with a Disney-like magical music number. And everyone turned off their TVs with a smile on their face. Well, actually, there was some interview bits after with Quadros randomly talking to them.
Is this the first time we get an outro to a DVD?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Boys, thoughts on Saku versus Silva?
It was brutal. I mean, the kicks were... Even when Sakuraba was trying to get a hold of his ankles, he like kind of, Silva just kind of stepped out of it, kicked him again, and I mean... The one after it landed, the bloody to his nose and shit like that, it was a good stoppage. I mean, they don't call him the axe murderer for nothing.
I mean, I agree. Like, it was just devastated. Like, Sakuraba just got devastated. Like, it started great because, Silva started the fight like he really wanted it, went in for some really good hits. Sakuraba was able to fight back a little bit. But then, the moment it went to the ground, and I will say this, the new rules really changed the tempo of the fight completely. The soccer kicks and the knees, holy shit, like that, like this would have been like a 30 fucking minute fight prior to the new rules.
I will say this is how fighting should be.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be, if it's a fight and, the stupid athletic commissions, they won't allow this type of strikes in America, but this is how fighting should be.
No, and I agree, because like I said, this would have been a 30-minute fight prior. It would have been people on the ground trying to make something of it and failing fucking miserably.
Well, that's what the Shuto box guys do, with the
yeah.
kicks and knees and shit like that. Him and Shogun, they're both, masters of it.
This is a good fight. Silva is hard to beat during this era, and while Sakuraba is most definitely the best Japanese fighter there is, I don't think his skill set can match Silva. Honestly, this was a really good matchup for Silva because, Silva's pretty good at avoiding the takedown, and honestly, Sakuraba's main attacks are going to be ground-based.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What would become of our two powerhouse Pride stars here? Silva will be back at Pride 14, where he will take on Shungo Oyama, a fighter with a 1-1 record who previously fought in King of the Cage. That does not sound like a fair matchup. As for Sakuraba, he won't be back until Pride 15, where he will take on a debuting Quentin Rampage Jackson. Memphis, Tennessee-born fighter with a record of 10-1 at the time, and future Pride megastar. We'll see you boys then. And with that, we've come to a close of Pride 13 Collision Course. Boys, your overall thoughts on this event?
One of the better cards that they've had, I thoroughly enjoyed it, Quick fights. I like a good quick fight. Sometimes you just need that knockout in you.
I mean, like you said, it was a good card. However, I'm the other way around. I was disappointed how quick those first few fights were, but it picked up steam. It picked up steam for that second half of the card, and I liked it. It was a good event.
I agree. I think there's two sides to it here. You had the first half, which was all quick fights, and then you had the second half, which had a little bit longer fights. I was about to proclaim this the best Pride event ever up to this point, since we've been watching them. But honestly, Pride 10 was still the better show. Pride 10 for me is still the best Pride up to this point. The matchups in this were good. It had a lot of star power. The finishes were satisfying, but it also had a lot of people that came and went. That they came in for one Pride and then they were gone. Yeah. So, that kind of is
But I'm glad they did those fights at the beginning of the card, though.
Yeah.
Previous Pride would have fucking put that as the fucking main event.
It's a good show, 8 out of 10. And now, it's the time of the show where we pick the fight of the night. Machine, who's your fight of the night?
Well, just because Henderson's my favorite fighter of all time, I'm just going to go with the Hendo fight, just because that's what I like best.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the Igor fight, man. It was well done.
Wow, we have 3 different fight of the nights. I'm gonna pick Sakuraba versus Silva. Huge fight. It was a true clash of the top 2 fighters. Hard to argue with that, and it was satisfying. It was a good result.
I just like seeing a Gracie get knocked the fuck out.
And with that, we've come to an end of episode 15. Wow, what a show! The best yet. We'll be back in short order for Pride 14, Clash of the Titans. But just what will be in store for us? Held 2 months later in May 27th of 2001, Pride 14 will showcase 9 bouts of extreme force, starting off with Antonio Schembri taking on Yohil de Oliveira. Then it's Daijiro Matsui returning to take on Jose Landy Johns. Chuck Liddell makes his Pride debut taking on Guy Mezger. Gary Goodridge is back to take on Valentin Overeem, the brother of Alistair. Vitor Belfort takes on Heath Herring. Dan Henderson takes on Akira Soji. That's going to be a savage fucking beating. Wanderlei Silva takes on Shungo Oyama. That's going to be a savage fucking beating. Igor Vovchanchyn takes on Gilbert Ivel. And Kazuyuki Fujita headlines the card, taking on Yoshihiro Takayama. Giant blonde-haired guy.
I remember. Doesn't he fight?
Who's currently might be paralyzed from the neck down after a pro wrestling accident. We're still hoping for the best.
I'm looking forward to the Gilbert Ivel one, too, because he fucking knocked out a ref.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen that shit? Look it up on YouTube. Gilbert Ivel knocks out a referee after one of his fights.
Yeah. Oh, but until then, fight fans, we must bid you adieu. So, for the good vibe, the machine,
hell yeah,
I am the most dangerous man alive today, wishing you goodbye, good luck, and...
sniff you fucking jerks later.
Peace.